Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Josh Barrett. I'm a millennial living in Philadelphia and I work as a project manager in fintech. And I'm here on YouTube just sharing my personal finance journey, some productivity tips, and some travel adventures that I like to go on. So if you're interested in any of those topics, hit that subscribe button, like this video. It'll really help me get this channel off the ground. Now, in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through how I save 20% of my six-figure income. So I'm here on YouTube today just to share with you how I save 20% of my income. So I think saving can be done in two ways. I think you can save passively and I think you can save actively. I'll cover what that means to me and explain to you how I do that. So I consider passive saving to just be saving that occurs in the background. You don't really have to think much about it. And it just happens every time you get paid or at the end of every month or whatever it is that cadence is that you set. I think of active saving as more of you have a goal in mind, you're cutting back expenses to put more towards that goal. You're really trying to be on top of it and save as quickly and as much as you can in a certain time frame to hit that goal when you need to hit it. And examples of this in my personal life are, my 401k and my high interest savings account. Those are both passive investments for me, whereas a vacation goal or you want to save up to buy a new phone or something of that sort is more of an active goal where you can put money towards it every month or every paycheck, but you also might take some money out of your checking account that's left over at the end of the month to put towards it. And then once you hit that goal, you're liquidating the account and you're putting the money towards what that goal was for. So to jump into how I save passively, I do this in two ways. I passively invest into my 401k and I also passively invest into a high interest savings account. So I recently opened up a Marcus high interest savings account. So I just opened this up a few months ago and it's been really great to just direct deposit 5 to 10% of each paycheck that I earn. So Marcus is a high interest savings account through Goldman Sachs and they're currently offering 4.5% interest. But the one great thing about this is that it compounds every single month. So you're getting interest payments every single month based on the balance that you have in your account. Just to give you an example, I'll share with you how much I've got in my Marcus account today and how much they paid me in interest last month. So I did just open up my Marcus account at the beginning of the year and I've been funding it with about 10% of every single paycheck over the past 2-3 months or so. So just to give you an idea of what that 4.5% breakdown looks like. Currently at the end of February, I had $3,725 in my Marcus savings account. And at the end of the month, they paid me out $11 in interest. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you compound that over 12 months, right there alone is about $120 worth of interest payments. But as I continue to direct deposit some of my paycheck into my account, that $11 will turn into $12, $13, $14, and by the end of the year, that could be upwards of a $30 a month payment, which really starts to add up at about $360 a year. So it doesn't sound like much, but if you've heard anything that Warren Buffett has ever said about compound interest, this Marcus savings account is the exact application of that. I really enjoyed it. It's super easy. And one of the great things about the app as well is that it's super easy to withdraw your money if an expense comes up. So it allows you to park your money for a certain period of time, get high interest on it at 4.5%, and then it's super easy to liquidate it or just take out whatever money you need for any expense that comes up. So highly recommend it. If you're interested in learning more about it, there's a link down below to check out more details. And it's something that I'm going to continue doing, especially as the 4.5% remains. That's just an incredible return on simply parking your money and saving it. So the second way that I save passively is through my 401k, and this gets done directly through my company's payroll platform. The great thing about this is that it is pre-tax dollars. So this 401k contribution that comes out of every paycheck comes out of the gross pay and not the net pay after taxes are deducted. So just a great way to, again, passively invest in a 401k, out of sight, out of mind. I don't need to manually transfer it into my 401k account. It just goes there, and then whatever money ends up hitting my checking account is the money that I have for my monthly expenses. So just to recap, some of my favorite things about passive savings is that it's very easy to do. If you have the right payroll platforms and if you have the right automation in place, it's very much a set it and forget it situation. And that's really how I like to save my money. It's very much out of sight, out of mind for me. If I don't see it, I don't spend it. And when it comes to saving, I think that's one of the biggest keys is just to put it away, let it gain interest, let it go into a 401k, and then just don't touch it. And that's how I like to save, in a very passive way. Now moving on to more active savings. This, as I mentioned earlier, is when I have a certain goal in mind, like a vacation or a new iPhone or the AirPod Pros that I've been wanting to buy for a very long time now. And it's just something that you know you're saving towards, and once you reach that goal, you'll liquidate and get whatever it is that you've been saving for. So I will admit, I do also set up the direct deposit through my company's payroll platform for some of these more active goals. But at the same time, I'm also taking whatever money is left over in my checking account and manually moving that to my savings account so that I can reach my goals quicker and I can get the thing that I've been saving for a lot sooner. And a perfect example of this is my recent savings goal for the trip that I just went on to Banff, Canada. And I knew I was gonna spend a lot of money on my credit card for this trip, but I also didn't wanna let that balance carry over and get charged the interest on it with my credit card. So where I could, I would take money from my checking account and put it towards my savings goal, because I knew that if I just continued to direct deposit about 5% of each paycheck into that fund, I wouldn't have hit the goal in time to cover the expenses for the trip. So because I was actively moving money into that savings account, I was able to spend all of that money on my trip and then go into that account and liquidate it to pay off my credit card balance without incurring any interest fees over the month-to-month carry. So that was how I actively saved for the specific trip that I just went on. And if you watch my video about how I split my paycheck to earn free money, then you'll have seen that I set up this checking account specifically for that vacation, knowing that the checking account also had a free sign-on bonus once a certain amount of direct deposits were sent to it. I used that account specifically for this vacation. And now that I've gone on a trip, I've totally liquidated that savings account to pay for the trip. And I've already started up a new active saving account where I'm now saving for a trip that I'll be taking this summer. So I'm a big advocate for saving whatever amount you're able to of your income. You know, when you're making money, times are great, everything's great, but it's always good to prepare for the future. And it's also a great way to get the things that you want without going into an incredible amount of debt. So if you know you want to get those new AirPod Pros like I do, or you want to get a new camera or a new iPhone, or you want to go on a trip, or just whatever it is that's not just, you know, a $30 swipe of the credit card. Setting up a savings goal, setting up direct deposit to it, actively saving and moving whatever money is left over from your monthly income into your savings account is just a great way to set that money aside, let it grow, put it out of sight so that you don't spend it, and then you're able to go and buy that thing that you want, whether it's the trip or the AirPods or whatever it is. You've got the money set aside. And for me personally, it's helped me evade going into massive amounts of credit card debt, because the reality is we live in this world of instant gratification. We all want everything the moment that we want it. I'm guilty of this myself. I've definitely gone and swiped a credit card when I knew I didn't have the cash to pay for it. But setting up savings accounts this way, thinking about saving this way, both passively and actively, has really helped me cover my expenses and let me buy the things that I wanted to buy, even if it takes 2 or 3 or 4 months to save up for it. The item's always gonna be there, the trip's always gonna be there, especially if you're planning a big trip, you're planning far enough ahead that you've got the time to make these steady payments into an account to save for it. So highly recommend it. And I hope that this video was helpful for you and gave you some tips on how you could possibly start saving towards some of your financial goals this year. For me personally, I aim to save about 20% of my income, and I think it breaks down to about 15% going into those longer term 401k Marcus accounts, where I'm planning to hold that money in those accounts for several years to come. And then I do about 5% of each paycheck that goes into one of these more active savings account where the clear goal in mind. And once I reach that goal, I liquidate it to spend it on what I was trying to save for. So that's how I save. I'm curious to hear if you've got any methods that you've found to be really successful for yourself. Add them down in the comments below. Would love to engage and learn from you as well. I just recently started to really get a grip on all of my expenses and my savings. So I would love to learn from you also, because I'm no expert. I'm just sharing what I know and what I do today, but it's bound to change in the future once I learn more and pick up different habits. But I found this to be really helpful for me, so I hope you did too, and I'll catch you in the next one.